Good afternoon, guys. It is the next day. We got as far as we could last night. We left off a little bit inconclusive. However, we did discover quite a bit of things. We posted a picture of the swap on our Instagram page, and Sean at K24 had reached out. And we kind of explained to him what we were dealing with as far as the transmission goes, and they're going to help us out with that, with the part that we need. And he himself was even saying about how that is a part that a lot of people don't know about. And so we're kind of excited to maybe reintroduce that part into the industry. So that's really cool. I'm gonna be like Frosty. Yeah! All right, man, we did pretty good work. What time is it?
It is 6 on the dot.
Wow, so we started this engine about 4:30. It's about an hour and a half later, and we're ready to pull the engine out. The only thing left we're waiting for is the wheel lock key. We got pretty far, so as soon as his wife gets here, we're ready to pluck the engine out. We're gonna pull the wheels out, pull the axles out, and that's the only thing that's left. Pretty easy. I really like it when everything's out of here, man, nice and tucked. So it's weird how much room it looks like there is in here when all the stuff's off, right? So it's just hanging out. We got two mounts left, one here and then over here. Let's bring the picker over here.
Let's do it.
Well, that was a good look for you, man. We got a couple of all-wheel drive transmissions. These are very popular. And I just got these in from... Do it old school. You don't have a lift in the shop yet. The shop is very expensive to move in. So the lift will come soon. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Robert with Hush Performance. Today we're going to try to install the K-Series in our EK. We found out that the JDM version, we need to replace the water pump. The power steering and AC kit are both RSX based. That meant that we had to locate a CRV water pump. We're going to be swapping it out with this one. This is the JDM TSX, and the water pump housings are almost completely different, so we're going to be swapping that out so we can put our RSX based water pump on there and RSX AC compressor. It was also extra cool because we got in our Gorilla Grip anti-slip gloves. Unknowingly at SEMA, I entered a contest for a lifetime supply of their gloves and also this toolbox here. Check this out. Full-size stand-up tool chest. I believe it's made by Husky, which it is. It's got a power strip inside, USB. Of course, this is how the power supply is. Plenty of drawers. Really stout and sturdy. I like it. I have a lot of Husky toolboxes actually. I got 3 over here. I like the toolboxes because of their cost and their effectiveness. They work well for what I use them for, so I'm very happy. But what's even cooler about is the selection of Gorilla Grip gloves I got. This is what they call their lifetime supply. Oh, I got lots of sizes and styles. We got what they call the Crew Chief, and also comes with the touchscreen compatible technology. Isn't that cool? And then they have something that's like a fast fit right here. And if you're familiar with like the mechanic style gloves, it does not have a strap. It just kind of has an elastic band around the wrist, and these are much thinner. So here's the difference between all of them. This style right here has the knuckle buster protectors, and then the tips of these let you scroll through your phone without having to take the gloves off. And if you know, that is a pain. These right here is like less duty, so the first one would be the heavy duty version. I would consider these like a step below that. And as a mechanic, these are the ones I prefer the most. I really like wearing this style glove because it has the most dexterity. I can feel the most. It gives me the most movement, but the nylon leaks oil onto your skin and then your skin gets dirty. So I normally like to wear a set of nitro gloves underneath. Fortunately, Gorilla Grip sent me a set of their nitro gloves, and these are really nice. They have what's called a traction grip kind of molded on there, and it's, I don't know if you could see, But anyways, it's really grippy. They're really nice. Right next to the toolbox is a K20. And there is an all-wheel drive K-Series transmission attached to it. This came off of the CRV I was referring to. What is really neat about this engine combination is it's going into a second project that we're working on, which is this CRX. A very close friend of mine was in need of some money, and in December, it's really slow in the automotive industry, at least for us anyways, and I didn't have the cash to be able to help him out. So I borrowed some money from another friend, paid him really quick, and I needed to pay my other friend back. I sold this car here. Turns out that same customer wanted an all-wheel drive K-Series. I found one a week later. We ditched the K20 5-speed transmission, now we're going all-wheel drive. That's something you want to look for because we'll definitely document that here in the future. Well, basically just now starting. Nowhere to be found. As I was removing the water pump, I just wanted to point out another fact why we're replacing this. We're going to put the CRV thermostat housing on it also. The TSX thermostat housing, the water neck points up and over, and we want it to point down and over. And fortunately, the CRV does that as well, so I got the water pump off of that. There are some hoses that run to the heater core underneath the intake manifold that I need to disassemble. It'll be easier to get to when I take off this upper intake manifold. If you guys remember How to Yard Like a Girl, she is now my wife, Christina, and she's on the phone. Say hi. Very well. She's on the phone. I'm in Arizona. She's in Colorado. And that's kind of our living situation right now until I move the shop up north. But she knows what an intake manifold is, and she remembers how to remove the intake manifold, right?
Yep.
Very good. So was it easy for you to do?
Yes.
Yep, and it's going to be just as easy here. So I'm going to get this off, and we'll swap out the thermostat housing. There you go. Notice real quick here when we're putting on the CRV water pump, there's a difference here as far as the stud that goes into the block. You can see that it runs out of threads right over here. So I think what we're going to do is pull this stud out and replace it with the bolt. And that also means that the bolt back here is a little bit more long than the original. So I was smart enough to keep the hardware off of the CRV just because I thought that there might be a difference, and also having spare hardware is cool to have for situations just like this. All right, now that the water pump's on, it's going to be a little bit easier to make some comparisons. Here's our CRV water pump with our thermostat pointing down. Here is the TSX style, JDM TSX style water pump. And here, as it sits upright, you can see the direction that the thermostat points. Also, let's compare the alternators between the JDM TSX version and the USDM RSX style. The USDM uses 3 through bolts, whereas the JDM has a bolt that goes through the center, much like our B series and D series from the past. That mounts here. Also, the pulleys are almost completely different as well compared to the RSX. Our RSX power steering pump, you'll see that the bolt, but that it aligns just right. Whereas when we try to install it on the JDM version, the bolt holes don't align at all. Hey guys, check this out. We got Afro EJ1 Chris Carey. He showed up here. He's from Colorado. He came out to the VTech Academy last year. He'd met Chris Sadowski. Is that how you ended up at the VTech Academy last year?
Yes, sir, through Chris Sadowski.
Okay, very good. So they knew each other online, and then Chris invited him out to a VTech Academy episode a few times, and he's here helping me out today. All right, guys, the engine is prepped. Now we're gonna put the engine in the car. So we got a couple of things we got to do on the engine bay. We're gonna have to remove the shift linkage. We're not gonna be using that at all anymore. We're gonna be removing the rear T bracket and rear mount. We're gonna be removing this mount here and this one over here. Is essentially prepped. Now we're going to put the motor mount brackets in place. I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. This is the Hossport EK K5 kit. All right, and this is specific to the engine and transmission we're going to use. Look here closely, and this is something I want to point out to you. Okay, so this is made for the 2012 and 2015 Civic Si or the all-wheel drive. And then the 0914 TSX. So you guys, if you're getting this motor mount kit, you can use the newer SI transmissions, and that's not a very popular transmission because of the shift linkage, but we're getting something in from K-Tuned, which is exciting, so we can show you how to use their shifter and shift box, the 2012 Civic Si and up, and also the all-wheel drive transmission. This bracket right here is what it's going to take. We'll look at here and how it bolts to the engine. So if we remove this bolt over here, you'll see how it slides in place. This piece taps into the block up here, and then this tab bolts to that transmission. Let's go see what it looks like on the all-wheel drive transmission. Here we are, the same bracket coming up. There it is, just like that. So let's just say you guys with the EK K5 kits already and you want to go all-wheel drive, you don't need an extra motor mount kit for it. You could use the one that you have. I believe you might want to check in with Hossport because there might be current kits out there that all you have to do is just replace this rear bracket and you'll have an all-wheel drive in your car without having to replace your mounts as well. That's going to go on the side frame rail over here, so just kind of bring that up here and I'll kind of show you. Flip it around. Yep, keep going. There you go, just like that. And it should bolt up somewhere. Let's see, is there some hole? Yeah, you see a hole there, how it kind of lines up there. And that's, all right, so take a look at the AC hoses, how this mount goes in. So maybe at first glance you think it goes like this, but it actually tucks in this way. And it looks like there's going to be some interference with our OEM AC lines right there. But I'm not sure if we actually need to use those anyway, because we're using the hybrid kit. And again, I haven't used it yet. So what we're going to do is just we'll remove these temporarily, get the mount in, and then we'll figure it out from there. We got all the mounts in. Passenger side bracket, rear motor mount, driver side bracket. We're gonna keep the power steering. This hose right here was bolted to the cross member. We just had to unbolt it and we're gonna kind of let it hang out until we figure out what we want to do with it. There's some wiggle room right here too in this mount. We're gonna keep them loose so when we drop the engine in. Because the rear bracket is rigid, we'll get some movements from side to side on that so we can help get aligned. We're also missing a special aluminum bracket made by Hossport. That bracket bolts to the side here. I forgot to order that. Fortunately, they are next door, but it's the weekend, so we're not going to be able to get one until Monday. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the engine in there and let it hang out, literally. Chris has been a lot of help here, and so now he's going to help me drop the engine in place. Will this be your first time doing that?
Swapping an engine?
Yeah.
Nah, this is probably like time number 4.
Really?
Yeah.
You had me surprised.
Right.
The passenger side mount is making it pretty difficult. We really need to have it in. If we had the mounts on both sides, on the passenger side and the driver's side, we'd be able to rock the engine in place. And really what we're trying to do is just get the engine in here, get it up out of the way. Gives me a lot more room to work with. We're gonna call it a day. Let's take a look at what we got. So with just doing this bracket, the engine's cocked at a weird angle. These engines are kind of temperamental as far as the angle that they need to be in. We almost thought that this transmission wasn't going to fit with this cross member, but it looks like it will. This mounts on, and it's in place, and it looks cool, really big. Still need to figure out what we're going to do for as far as the power steering. I'm pretty sure we're going to keep cruise control, but you can see that the alternator and the AC fit pretty well in here. Power steering pump sits a little high, but again, the engine's not in the place that it needs to be, so we'll see how that works in time. Well, what'd you think of tonight?
It was good. It's an experience, so I like it. This was like my first K-swap, especially in an EM1, so cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think of your Gorilla Grip gloves?
They are grippy for sure, and I can actually use my phone with them, which comes in handy, so.
Yeah, I like that too.
Shout out to Gorilla Grip for that.
Right. Alright guys, next time you see the video, hopefully we'll have the mount in place, the engine will be in, and we'll be working on the rest of the swap. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to watch our sister channel, VTech Academy. Make sure to check out our website, hushperformance.com. Happy tuning.